Hey buddy, welcome back to the channel and to the wonderful world of Warships. So today is another feature of the tier 10 French cruiser, the Henri 4. And this is a ship I showcased 2 times before. I think I had a 265k game and a 275k game. So I just had to top that a bit. And that's the thing in this cruiser. It's not actually that hard to be able to rock out these kind of games, like 250k plus damage games. Because during the week that I have owned this ship, I have so many games accumulated on my computer that I don't really know how I will be able to showcase them all. I mean, breaking 200 is just easy peasy in this ship if you learn how to play it, which I think I kind of have, even though I actually just grinded this line. But I feel like I have, found some way to play this at least, where it caters to the ship's strength. And to explain it in short terms, you could say that I choose one of 2 different playstyles depending on the map, how my team positions, and also how the enemy team positions on the map. And this is kind of the second way, the other way that I'm playing the ship, where I am pretty mobile during the whole game, zipping around using my very nice 4.5 minute speed boost, which makes this ship really hard to hit, apparently for some reason. There are very few captains, it seems, that understands how to take the lead on Henri. And the other way I choose to play the Henri, I have showcased in my earlier videos, so please go and check them out as well on my channel. And that is pretty much the more stagnant playstyle, where I pretty much just park in a kiting away position on preferably the enemy's strong flank, where they have their big push, so to speak. And then I just pretty much sit in that position and start to burn down the enemy fleet pretty much. And then I just use my speed boost and my acceleration to duke enemy shots, while pretty much sitting still in the same position most of the game, just burning down and farming damage. So that is the other way I used to play Henri. And the reason why I play that way is because it's a really efficient way if you manage to position yourself on the enemy's strong flank. Because as you can see many times in this game, I can stay really well angled, like you can see right now, and still get all my guns to bear on the target. So pretty much sitting still in this position, you can pretty much just duke the majority of the shells from the enemy team while just burning them down, just going slowly ahead, slowly reverse, back and forth, just duking their shells while you burn them down. And I think I had one of the best damage tanking games in my Henri. I actually think I tanked more damage in the Henri that I ever did in a battleship like a Conqueror or Kurfürst. Because in this ship I tanked 3.5 million damage in one game. And that was one of my strongest games, where I had like 240k damage or something. So even though the enemy team shot so much lead in my position or at my ship, I managed to tank all that incoming damage and still be extremely effective in the game. And the other tactic that I have started to use, which not really a secret, but it's just really effective in this ship, is that you start to farm damage on cruisers and battleships, setting fires on them and just waiting until they get fed up and use their damage con. And the second they use their damage con, you pretty much activate your main armament reload booster and just blap them with HE salvos until they have like 2 or 3 permafires. And that is of course a very effective way to deal with the enemy targets, and also to discourage the rest of the enemy team to actually push your position. So as you can see in this match, it's pretty much me and a friendly Sao on this flank, totally alone, holding on to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... well, pretty much 7 and 8 if you count the cruisers spotted in the background. So pretty much the entire enemy team. Meanwhile, you can see my team is blobbed up in the sea cap, and I can't really see if they are fighting any ships, because there is no enemy ships sighted around the sea cap. But there we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 friendly ships. So 10 of my team is in C cap, 1 destroyer is just now moving into the B cap. Meanwhile, me and the Sao are pretty much holding on to the entire enemy team on our own. And that is pretty much the power of the Henri. You pretty much just need one more teammate, hopefully a pretty decent one. But one more teammate that can help you keep the enemy team spotted. And then you can pretty much hold an entire enemy team on their main flank all by yourselves, and they won't be able to do anything. I mean, look at me, I have lost, well, 13, 14k something, but I have really good health. I have tanked 300,000 damage so far, and that number will just go up. I'm up to 150k damage done so far, 11 fires. I think I got the arsonist before, I'm not really sure. I got something at least. And you can see I'm sitting still right now and they can't shoot me. I have 4 ships targeting me. But it's okay, I can just sit here and spam. Sure, I will take some damage, some ship damage. I can even eat a citadel. But that's not that's not so common. But I can eat some citadels and I just heal something back and start again, burning down the next ship. I mean, look at this Salem. He's gonna be, well, he's gonna try and do some damage to me. Pretty much half, the second half of the game, he will try and chase me. Meanwhile, I will just burn down his battleship buddies, and he can't really do anything about it. So still, if you look at the minimap, my entire team that has been sitting in C are now slowly going into the B cap, which is great, because they will probably have no trouble securing the B cap, since me and the Sao are keeping the majority of the enemy team occupied at the A cap. I mean, the enemy team can't really progress, they can't really advance, because they have 2 really strong tier 10 cruisers just spamming damage upon them from the flank. and the enemy team can't really do anything about it. Here I stop shooting because I don't wanna show perfect broadside while having my speed nerfed by the border that I managed to run into. So now I'm just gonna create a bit more distance so I can angle against this Yamato while I start to burn him down. So now we have a Yamato, a Salem that is pushing up behind the Yamato, and also this Sao. And as you saw, my friendly Sao is really low on health, so he will die quite shortly. But as you can see, we have pretty much discouraged their entire push. They have a Montana sitting in the A cap that don't really want to move because he have eaten so much damage. So now I take out the biggest threat, which was pretty much this Sao, because I didn't want to show broadside to his armor piercing. I wasn't really that worried about the Yamato or the Salem, but now when I have killed the Sao, I can just continue to work on this Yamato. And I know I'm gonna kill him. I mean, he has 54,000 health and heals. I have 20,000 health, but I know he doesn't have a chance. Now I have 15,000 health, 14, but I know I'm gonna kill this guy. And that is the strength of this playstyle and of this ship. And he also have a Salem that you will see shortly that is helping him, and also the Montana is actually pushing now as well. So all of these three ships will take turns trying to shoot me, and I have 14,000 health. And yeah, Bob's your uncle. The Salem is actually trying to shoot me with AP, which is kind of a mistake, because since I'm angling quite well at all times, you will have a hard time doing really great damage towards me. So I get my 15 fire and my high caliber as well. So in this game, as I said before, I have been pretty mobile for most of the game, kiting the enemy push. But it's kind of a different playstyle depending on the team's positioning, the enemy team's positioning, and also which map you're playing on. But sometimes you can pretty much just park, sitting still like this, just spamming the incoming pushing ships until they're all dead, or they pretty much get sick of you and just try and turn away and flee, and then you can just engage your speed boost and chase them down and kill them. So as you saw, this was a 55,000 health Yamato with heals, and I have lost, what did I start at? 14,000, so I lost 1000 HP while burning him down. 55,000 HP with heals, earning me, I think it was it the Arsonist I got now, or the Witherer? So yeah, it's hard to play another tier 10 cruiser when you have the Henri, because you pretty much choose, do I want to have a 120k game, or do I want to have a 250k damage game? And usually the answer to that question is pretty simple. And as you can see on these screenshots, the achievements you get in this ship, it's just raining achievements on you as well. So if you have one of those campaign missions where you have to get a certain number of achievements, well, guess what ship I will use. So this Salem has been spamming me for about 7 or 8 minutes, I think, or even longer, and I think he just actually got the first hit on me right there. So even other cruisers have trouble dealing with you. Pretty much the only ship that I really fear in the game, in this ship, is Henri. Played by some at least decent Henri player. Because the rest of the ships I can pretty much deal with, as long as they are spotted. So I'm actually... I don't have the legendary module equipped in this game, but pretty much all the upcoming games that I will feature on the channel in the Henri will be featuring me in the legendary module that gives me 16 kilometers detection range. And I actually thought that I would try to maybe get that to work in ranked battles, the upcoming ranked battles. And see if that can be something that is viable even in competitive. I'm not really sure about clan battles, if it's a good fit or not. But regardless, this ship in ranked or clan battles, with or without the legendary module, is of course extremely strong. Because in clan battles you will see a lot of Moskvas, a lot of battleships and a lot of Stalingrads. And this is the Punisher. This is the ship built to punish high armored battleships, Stalingrad and Moskvas. Because with the IFHE skill on this ship, you pen 50 millimeters of armor. Which means that you burn down Stalingrad, Moskvas, Kurfürst, Republics, every pretty much well-armored ship in the game, like a Khabarovsk, is full damage. So yeah, this is definitely a keeper. So as you can see, I earned 3 kills, Arsonist, Witherer, High Caliber, 284k damage, while tanking 3 million damage in a cruiser, a paper armored cruiser with 53,000 hit points. I tanked 3 million potential damage. And that is pretty much what I spoke of before, that with this ship, if you have just like one destroyer or another good cruiser like the Sow I had earlier helping me out on the flank, we can pretty much just stop the enemy push in their tracks all by ourselves. So extremely strong cruiser, and as you can see, almost 700,000 credits. And this is me rocking all the premium consumables as well. Arsonist, Witherer, Dreadnought, High Caliber. Dreadnought is something you get really often in this ship. High Caliber, Confederate as well. Arsonist and the Witherer is in pretty much all the games you play, like you saw in my screenshots before. So an extremely strong ship. And as you saw, this was during my time grinding for the legendary module. So this was, I think, the 3rd or 4th day I had this ship. I have to compliment some of the guys in this match that played really well. Saint Louis, of course, is another great friendship that I will showcase on the channel in the future. I have some great games in that ship as well. And I also have a Kraken game in the Charles Martel that I also will showcase on the channel in the future. I just have to go through all my great games in the Henri first, because I mean, it's exhilarating. I mean, look at this Yamato, this poor Yamato. I took 160,000 damage from this Yamato. I took his whole, pretty much his whole HP pool and pretty much all his 4 heals. And finally killed him as well. So, let's jump into the captain and ship build I run on this ship. So, looking at the upgrades on the Henri. First slot, main armament 1, because your main armament is your bread and butter. Slot number 2, I use the upgraded engine boost modification, because that allows you to have a 4.5 minute speed boost, which is also pretty much your bread and butter in these French cruisers. So this is definitely worth it. None of the others really comes close. You don't really need the propulsion, because your propulsion breaks usually only up to tier 9. Tier 10 Henri don't really have the same issues as the tier 8 and 9 ones. Slot number 3, aiming systems modification 1. Playing the play style I do in my Henri makes me sit at the really long ranges, and that is why I use aiming systems modification. You could of course go for AA guns modification, but I actually recently started to not build all my ships for AA, because I think the AA is so nerfed these days that it's not really worth it to waste a lot of modules and captain skills to try and boost pathetic AA just to try and shoot down some planes. So that's why I opt out of using AA guns modification 1. Slot number 4, you have steering gears, and this is of course you have to be maneuverable, flying around in your very fast French cruiser, and none of the other are really that viable as this one. Here is the interesting one. I hard grinded the legendary module in a week, so I was able to unlock this. And I think many people are a bit hesitant in using this, because it gives you an insane detectability by sea at 16 kilometers. I mean, you will have the worst concealment in the game. None of the battleships will come close to this concealment. But as you've seen in my videos, it's workable. If you play this ship right, then this detectability range isn't an issue. So I use this because that will grant me 8% longer fire range and 12% buff to my reload, which means that I can shoot almost to 21 kilometer range, which is really, really great in this ship, as I will show you in this clip or in my matches. And 9.5 seconds reload. So you already have a pretty good reload, and then of course you also have the main battery reload booster, which buffed this even further 5 times in a match. So that is why I use the legendary module, and I can strongly recommend this. Just look at my Henri games and you understand why. I have 130,000 average damage in this ship right now, and that number is only going up. I had so many 260, 270, 280k games in the first week I had this ship. So anything that can boost your damage is just extra gravy. And in the last slot I use the reload mod to even further enhance that damage output. I mean, I don't think you need any more range. Definitely not torpedoes, no secondaries. I mean, if you want, you can go for the AA, but as I said before, I don't really spec anything for AA anymore because I think it's just worthless. So, looking at the consumables, of course, this is a tier 10 cruiser, so of course I run premium on everything, which I strongly recommend you doing because you will make a profit every game. I pretty much guarantee it. If you learn to play this ship, you will make a huge profit, even though you're running as many premium consumables as you want. But if you're short on cash, I definitely recommend damage control party and of course heal. I would probably go for speed in the third place, because that is pretty much the way you are able to stay alive. Then I would go for main battery reload booster, and last I would go for AA, because so far I haven't really experienced that I get focused that much in the Henri, because usually I sit in the back lines supporting my team, melting down the enemy flank, and if the carrier actually goes for me, I have my defensive AA, I have my sectors and my speed that can pretty much duke his attacks somewhat. So I think this ship actually outruns carrier dropped torpedoes. So that is the priority I would go for in the consumables. And looking at my captain, of course I have the Jean-Jacques Henri, and he has some enhanced skills that are very good on the Henri 4, which is expert marksman, that gives you that extra buff for the turret traverse, and you will need that in this ship because the turrets move so sluggish. I mean, it's if you're zipping around the map trying to maneuver, it's very hard to have your guns tracked on target pretty much. And also, of course, the adrenaline rush, which is a great enhanced skill for pretty much every ship, but also for the Henri, of course, because the lower health you get, the meaner punch this cruiser delivers. But let's take it from the start. First skill you take is of course priority target. You always want to know how many ships are targeting you, if a destroyer is sending torps, or if a Yamato or something you're showing broadside to is shooting at you. So of course priority target first. Secondly, I would definitely go for expert marksman first, because otherwise it's gonna be really tough for you to play Henri. Third, superintendent. You have 4 great consumables, so of course getting an extra one of each will enhance your games and damage output. Here is a bit of a, because since I'm using the legendary mod, which actually give me a concealment detection range of 16 kilometers. I mean, I have this, it's pretty useless because I have 16k, but if I wouldn't have this, I would have even higher. So this pretty much makes me at least not be detected the second the game starts. So you don't have to dodge shells from the first second pretty much. So, but these 4 captain skill points are kind of a waste, because you, even with these, you have 16 kilometer range. So I would actually go for IFHE first for your 10, when you have 10 points, captain points, because this enhances your HE pen, which makes the HE on the Henri actually penetrate Gross Occur first, Republic, all the high tier well armored battleships and cruisers like Stalingrad, Moskva, they eat full damage. Khabarovsk, you melt down pretty much every ship in the game. So take this first. After your 10 points, I would probably go for Adrenaline Rush first. Then I would go for Jack of all trades to even lower the reload of the consumables. And lastly, Expert Loader. Well, somewhere in between there you have Concealment Expert, of course, but this is more valuable before you unlock the Legendary module. After you unlock the Legendary module, this is kind of like just, yeah, I think you get my point. So, that was my ship and captain build for my Henri. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a like and a comment below, and I see you guys in the next one. Have a good one. Bye bye.